Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome back to Unbettable.
Yes, sir.
Myself, Mr. Mondo, we have Holmes over there live from Miami. Notice we don't have someone else, and we'll get to that in a minute. But on today's episode, we have Studs and Duds. We're going to talk a little NBA superstar fallout. We have college baseball presented by Mr. Hart over there, and we have Super Bowl because, it's the Super Bowl time of year. So we're going to talk Super Bowl. Holmes, I guess let's kind of talk about it, man. We decided we wanted to come back here, and it was very exciting, but unfortunately, Gary is not coming back for a while.
We will miss our man Garrett. We will miss our man Garrett. He is very busy with work, got a lot going on in life right now. But first thing we said when we built this back up, we were like, we're gonna reach out to Garrett. If he wants to do it, great. If he doesn't, we're gonna keep going full throttle. We wanted to get back into this. We're really excited about this. Been a long hiatus. We've just had so much going on with different schedules and not being able to record as much as we like. But dude,
Mm.
I'm so excited to be doing this again with you. We have so much to talk about, especially today. We're a week before the world's biggest football game, and I'm so excited. We're going to dive right into it today. Like you said, college baseball, crazy NBA trades. I mean, we've got so much to get into. Let's freaking do it, man.
Let's do it. Let's start with studs and duds. As you guys know, studs and duds, we give our biggest stud, we give our biggest dud from the past weekend. Hart, what is your stud from this weekend?
All right, well, I'm going to go a little unorthodox here because there's something that happened today. There's something that happened a few days ago. I am going to choose Stu Sternberg, the Rays owner, because finally it looks like this man is bringing some free agents that we want to the Rays. He started off with a 2-year signing of infielder Ha-Seong Kim. Great addition to have. It looks like we're finally going to phase out Taylor Walls, get rid of him. Possibly a good replacement for Brandon Lau if he can't stay on the roster. And then eventually, with that 1-year option or opt out that he has after the first year, maybe we bring in Carson Williams in the shortstop, second base position in the second year. And then just today, former Gator great and College World Series champion Alex Faedo was just signed to the Rays on a 1-year deal. This is exciting because obviously, him being a Florida boy, he is back in the state and he has had a very mediocre career with the Tigers. Hasn't gone too well, but we know the Rays, they bring in mediocre pitchers all the time and turn them into studs. So I am so excited to be bringing him in. Maybe he'll be a great bullpen piece. Maybe he'll be a great rotation piece. But I am excited that Stu Sternberg is bringing in agents that I am finally excited about. Let's go, man.
You gotta love it, man. You're finally getting your way in Tampa Bay. It's been a
Needs to be.
long, long time coming.
Yep.
Hurricane happens, you lose the roof. Now you're finally getting free agency, which is usually on the other foot for you guys. So it's a big time to be a Rays fan. I'll tell you what it is a big time to be though, is a little Twitter X account ran by the man behind the Shamber alert, Shams.
Yeah.
It's his dedication. I mean, the guy was
Yep.
on a tear this weekend. In the
Mhm.
light of all of us refreshing our feeds to see what crazy shit Kanye was posting next, we refreshed one more time. And what did we see? The biggest blockbuster trade in the history of the NBA. And this man has not gone to bed since, been locked in, tweeting and tweeting and tweeting. And wouldn't you know it, we get another big name trade with De'Aaron Fox. But man, that dude does not sleep. Holmes, give me your dud.
This one I feel like is a lot more obvious. And you might have the same one as me. Dude, it's the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, we're obviously going to go a little bit deeper into this trade in a few minutes, but man, I am sure you were just like me, just like the rest of the world on Saturday night when we saw this happening. You're going to trade away star player for the Dallas Mavericks, pretty much a guy that's been synonymous with your city and your team for years, a guy that you knew you were going to build around, and you ship him out for Anthony Davis, a pretty damn injury prone power forward. And I think it was one first round pick. If I remember correctly, Rudy Gobert got 4 first round picks back for
Mm-hmm.
him when he was traded to Minnesota. Like, it's just unfathomable to me the little amount of return I feel like the Dallas Mavericks got for what I consider to be a generational player in the NBA.
Holmes, I had the same fucking one, brother.
Of course, of
I
course,
had
of
the
course.
same one. This man is an embarrassment to the sport of basketball. I have not seen such a poor performance at general manager in the entirety of my life across any sport. Even the Chicago Bears. I mean, this makes them look like superstars.
Hmm.
I cannot believe you trade the face of your franchise, a 25-year-old superstar who is going to keep you good for the next decade at a minimum. And you trade him for Anthony Davis, a 32-year-old who is a superstar. Don't get me wrong, but he cannot stay healthy enough to be the cornerstone of your team. And that's just a
Yep.
fact. Now, what I will say, and let's just go ahead and get into it, I don't think this does a lot for either team in terms of an NBA championship. And here's why. The Mavericks obviously get worse, adding Anthony Davis. The whole defensive thing does not matter when your team cannot put up enough points to battle. So at the end of the day, Anthony Davis, he's going to do his thing while he's on the court, but most of the time he's not on the court. So those odds are going to drop down. I think it went up 1,000 from 2,000 to 3,000, something like that. So not great odds for the Mavericks. Well, you look at the Lakers, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Lakers, they got to be your title odd favorites, right?" It's a no-brainer. They're like plus 900 to win the Western Conference now. But what you guys are failing to understand, yes, they get a superstar, a bona fide generational player to go next to LeBron James. But what they don't tell you is the lack of defense that the Lakers have will far outweigh the offensive output that they are able to put up every night. So while they do drop 140, their opponent will be dropping 160 because Luka does not play defense. LeBron does not play defense. Three-quarters of their roster does not play defense. So from a betting mindset, I am here to tell you, do not take either one of these teams to win the NBA Finals because it will not happen. And you will watch it all unfold in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, 100% agreed with that point. And as somebody that hasn't probably watched the NBA as much as I would like to so far this season, I think just even a casual fan can understand this.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened with this trade, albeit two superstar players trading teams, it's not really like either of these teams are in a position to really make a push. Just like you said, I don't think that the Mavericks in any capacity get
Mm-hmm.
better from this, and it's going to take some time to really figure out how they want to build around AD because obviously them bringing him in, he must they must envision him being a cornerstone piece.
Yeah.
It's tough to imagine that given obviously the injury history that he's had, but he's young enough. He does have the talent. They can make something work, but it's not going to be now. You just know it's not going to be now. I think I saw what were they like ninth or 10th place right? Yeah, ninth place right now in the West in the play-in tournament. Not looking too great. The Lakers are fifth right now. They've been playing, I think, a little bit above expectations. It hasn't been
Mm-hmm.
too bad. But again, this is, I think, a future move. You're going to have LeBron for 2 years more at the max. So they needed a contingency plan. I really did think that that contingency plan was AD, and they were going to start building around him. But I do like the idea if you bring in this younger superstar for the Lakers, your next superstar for the biggest brand in basketball. But it's not going to happen this year. The guy hasn't played since Christmas. Luka Doncic has not seen the court since Christmas. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know when he's going to play anytime soon. Even if it is soon, I don't think it's enough for him to just immediately get inserted and this is going to be a bona fide playoff championship team. So I'm right there with you. Definitely do not put your bets, any futures out there for these teams to win this year. Maybe a couple years down the road, seeing what pieces they can mix and match, but it ain't happened now.
Yeah, no, it's such a weird move because I feel like we never see stuff like this. I think the last time was like the last AD trade. So this in itself is kind of an anomaly and it's tough
Yeah.
to like make a decision, but I've never seen the entirety of NBA Twitter all be united on one front that the Mavs got absolutely bent over in this trade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Rare.
unbelievable. But you look at someone like that, like Luka, who's very happy where he is. Then you look over at Miami with Jimmy Butler, and it's the whole opposite thing. But yet the deals are getting done for the guys who don't want it done for.
Yeah.
And this is going to be kind of a little personal because this is frustrating as a Heat fan. But I am done with the Jimmy Butler bullshit. I am, and I've loved Jimmy Butler. I tried my hardest to support him and what he does, but As a Heat fan, I've lost full confidence in him. He says he wants to go to any team except the Heat. We propose him to Memphis. He says, I don't want to go to Memphis. I don't blame him, but still, he didn't want to go to Memphis. Now we're trying to flip him to Golden State, where he can play alongside Steph Curry. He can develop on that roster, help the young guys become serious veterans, playoff performers. He doesn't want to sign an extension. So those trade talks fall through. My goal was to get De'Aaron Fox on the squad. We saw him go to San Antonio. I mean, at what point do you stop trying to play victim as Jimmy Butler and just accept the fact that you're a villain? You're a cancer to every team you've been on. And yeah, I hope we retire your number one day, but you didn't bring us any championships. You just brought us some great Eastern Conference finals and finals losses. I mean, that's really all you did at the end of the day. So I, as a Heat fan, am sick of him. I want him gone. He clearly does not want to be gone anymore. He's denying every trade he can. I am so sick of it. I love that Pat Riley is making him waste a year of his prime, and it's making me. I gotta be honest. I'm conflicted. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, and we're like I'm unfolding here. First episode back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Holmes, do you have anything to like help me through this? Because I don't know what else to do.
Dude, not a whole lot. I mean, it's tough to add on to what you said because everything that's going on. It's just so standoffish right now. It doesn't really feel like somebody has more leverage over the other person. And the thing that was confusing for me, like you mentioned Memphis, I honestly think that would be a pretty decent team for him to go to. There's all these young kids right now. They're at second place in the West, right behind
Mm-hmm.
OKC, who is another super young team that they're just showing out in the Western Conference right now. I mean, for a guy like this that is like, oh, he's been mentioning wanting to go to the Suns. Okay, Suns are in eighth place. They're in the play-in tournament. They have not looked good at all this season. They're very discombobulated all over the place. So I'm just kind of confused, like, what are you really looking for in your next team? Are you
Mm-hmm.
looking to win a championship? Are you looking to play alongside a Hall of Fame player that you've wanted to play alongside for years? Like, but I agree with you where there has to come a time where you just got to accept it, man. You got to move forward and figure it out because Pat Riley's, like you said, he's wasting a year of your career, man. Are you going to let him do that to you? Or are you going to just give in, maybe go to a team that you weren't super excited about in the beginning, but you're just going to make the best of that shit? It's not like if you get traded there, that's the end all be all. You could be traded again in the off season, dude. Like you can work so many different angles around this. It's just it's very frustrating to see what this saga is like. His attitude has been really poor, the way he's been disrespecting the team, not showing up to meetings, practices, games, all this kind of stuff. It's really frustrating. I get it. And especially for a Heat fan, like I can't even imagine what turmoil is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster, except the roller coaster's on fire. There's a hole in the track. It's raining. It's just full chaos full time in the Heat organization. I don't really know what else to do. Like
Mhm.
I spend my day talking about sports as it is, and I just get to the point where it's just like I don't even want to talk about the Heat anymore. Like it,
Sure.
it just kills me inside. So I mean, there's blame on both sides. At the end of the day, I get that, but at one point, Pat's trying to work on getting a trade for you. You have to be willing to accept the out. There's just you have to be willing to do that. So
Let's get your
as
new
far,
situation.
yeah, literally in this situation, like it's a no brainer. Just go to Golden State, sign a 1 year extension, play with Steph Curry. Who cares?
I mean, I would.
Like I don't get it. All right. Regardless, I don't want to get too wound up the first episode back. It doesn't make for good podcast watching. Holmes, we got college baseball coming up. It's a big time of year. It's your favorite
Yeah.
time of year, honestly. So I'm gonna let you kind of take over here, walk us through what we're looking for in this season.
All right, guys. This is, like Mondo said, my favorite time of the year. I love college baseball. I love betting on college baseball. Last year, we had a phenomenal year. We're going to try and keep the pace up this year and do the same damn thing. I've been going really hard this weekend. And a ton of different research on some teams that we want to follow, look at some pitchers that we definitely want to keep our eye on. So I'm going to go through all that right now. Get out your pens, get out your papers, write this shit down. It's going to be important. The season gets kicked off on Valentine's Day, a couple Fridays from now. We're going to start off kind of going conference by conference, giving you a little bit of a look into some of these teams that I'm taking a look at. We'll start out with the SEC, the biggest and baddest conference. Texas A&M, they are ranked number one in the nation, and for good reason. They have a ton of talent. They are a top team. They're returning so many pieces from last season. They're looking to make a very similar College World Series run as they did last year. They're looking to end up with the championship. We will be betting on this team a lot, but we're going to have to pick our spots well because I'm sure the money line is going to be very heavy. Uh, the same as Virginia. We're going to talk about the ACC a little bit later, but Virginia, they're the second ranked team in the nation. They have a very, very similar makeup as Texas A&M, pretty much a model of consistency. They make it to the World Series a lot. This is actually a really good team. If you want to put a future in it right now for a team to make the College World Series, Virginia, in my opinion, is one of the safest bets you can make there. Arkansas, they have a great pitching staff. They normally always do. They're always developing arms. One thing that we need to watch for them is their hitting. They do not tend to play a lot of over games, especially last year. A lot of 4-1, 5-1, 6-0 wins. Very, very under for them. Their hitting could get going, but it normally waits until about mid-season for them to really hit in stride. And they desperately need to get out of regionals this year. They look so damn good every year and just falter in Fayetteville when they host. They need to have a great season and get out of regionals. And I believe that they can do that. We're going to keep an eye on them. Auburn is going to be a really interesting team to watch. Up and down the lineup, they have a lot of interesting pieces. Derek Fabian, younger brother of Judd Fabian, who transferred out from Florida a couple years ago, is going to be a pretty big stalwart in that lineup. He's going to be one to watch. And Cade Fisher just transferred from Florida last season. He's going to be a brand new arm for Auburn this year. We're going to definitely take a look at him, see if maybe he had a little bit of a revival with Auburn, or if he's still sucking like he did last year. We're going to take advantage of that shit. Florida, we'll come back to them, go at the end, because obviously we love Florida. A few pitchers that we're going to really keep our eye on down the stretch. For any games that they're really going to be pitching, these are games that we're going to want to be taking these guys. Chase Shores for LSU, Jamie Arnold for FSU, Liam Peterson for the University of Florida, Jason DiCaro for UNC, and Robbie Porco and Chase Meyer for West Virginia. These are some of the top arms in the country. Typically, one second day rotation guys in the weekend rotation. These guys will be phenomenal, mostly all season long. We're going to want to back these guys in all of the games that they start. They're going to be very, very important high draft prospects as well. Switch over to the Big Ten, to the ACC. For these couple conferences, especially in the Big Ten, these are going to be fade spots for us. We saw it a little bit in football. Stanford, UCLA, USC, Oregon, Ohio State, Cal, all these cross-country travels that they're going to have to do, it is going to weigh down on these teams. We are going to have to pick our spots very carefully here and fade them when they have the bad travel spots, because we saw it in football. It definitely had an effect on the football teams in different scenarios where they were just traveling a ton in a span of 2 to 3 weeks cross-country. We will definitely be looking at trying to take advantage of that. And the Big Ten as a whole, they're going to be a lot more competitive. Teams to watch out for: Oregon, Ohio State, Purdue even. These are teams that really haven't been phenomenal in recency, in recent past. But this year, they've been building up a lot, using the transfer portal to their advantage. Big Ten is going to be a lot better of a conference this year. A couple teams to watch in the ACC. Clemson, they're going to be returning a lot of talent from last year. They're going to be just as nice and talented as they were last year when Florida was battling with them in a super regional. NC State, going to be a really underrated team as well. And Louisville, big, big sleeper team to watch in the ACC. Over to the Big 12, a couple underrated teams: Kansas, West Virginia, going to be teams we're going to be looking to bet on. UCF should have a nice bounce back after really faltering at the last half of last season. Arizona and TCU, these are a couple teams that are going to be overvalued. I think they've been rated a little higher than they should be in the Big 12. Kind of just like, Arizona and TCU over the past 10 years have had a good resume. They've looked really good in certain spots, but this, I think, is going to be some down years for them. We're going to have to watch that, see how they tackle this season. But all the teams should be very, very close in this conference. And then mid-majors, these are the smaller teams that you're really not going to pay that much attention to, but we can win some serious money on these teams. Liberty, College of Charleston, UNC Wilmington, UConn, Southern Miss, Austin P, High Point, West Kentucky, UC Irvine, Troy, and Stetson. Now, there's reasons for all these different teams. Some of them are really balanced, bringing back a lot of seniors from last year. College of Charleston is one to look out for because they had a phenomenal season last year and got snubbed from the playoffs. They did not get into a regional. That was a big, big point of contention for them last year. They're going to have a fire lit under their ass this year. We're going to be betting a lot on them. And then to round it out, a couple of things that we want to take advantage of. Xavier, their non-conference schedule is one of the craziest I've ever seen. They they scheduled so many Power Five teams. It is crazy. We're going to be looking to fade them in a lot of spots this year, especially in midweek spots where they're traveling to some of the top teams in the nation. So, Xavier's schedule, we're going to be looking to take advantage of that a little bit. And then Indiana State, a team that had a lot of hype about a year or two ago, was a fantastic mid-major team, crushing all of the record books. They lost a ton of talent this year to the transfer portal. They're honestly going to be a shell of themselves from the last couple of years. Going to be another team that we're going to look into fade. That is going to round it up for our first college baseball preview of the season. That was so much information. Rewind,
I
take it
mean,
all in, write it all down. We're going to have so much more of this coming your way. We're going to be putting together parlays. We're going to be putting together any type of bets that we can to win money in college baseball. We can take advantage of this. I promise you, we will have a great season.
that was unbelievable. That was really good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you even had me taking notes out here. I got a little notepad out, but that was
Yeah.
well done, Holmes. Well
Thank you,
done.
sir.
First episode back. Round of applause. Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
Uh, before we even get to college baseball, we got to talk Super Bowl, right? That's
Yes,
what's
sir.
happening this Sunday. It's the biggest thing in sports aside from Luka Doncic, and we know that. Let's talk about some quick things for betting. First of all, if you use Hard Rock Bet and you bet over $100 on the Super Bowl, you will get a free bet each week afterward leading up to March Madness. So, with that, I have a couple parlays already placed ahead of time to discuss. So, the first one I have Travis Kelce anytime touchdown with Devontae Smith 25 receiving yards and Saquon over 80 rushing yards. These hit pretty well. The only one that I'm really worried about is Devonta Smith. I don't know what the game plan is with Jalen Hurts. Is he in a scramble mood? Is he in a passing mood? That's why we kept it a little lower there. But when it comes to passing, we know there's one consistent option in the playoffs. That's Dallas Goedert. We have another parlay, him over 40 receiving yards, Saquon another 80 piece, Patrick Mahomes over 225 passing yards, and Saquon anytime touchdown. So just a little compliment on each side. And then we have what sends us over the top, the $90 bet. Saquon anytime tutty, Travis Kelce anytime tutty, and Patrick Mahomes over 225. We're kind of combining all the parlays, so we either win big or we lose big. But you know what? We're gambling. So that's kind of what I have on the line first. But Holmes, do you have anything set up already, or do you want to just discuss the matchup? What are you thinking?
I'll kind of go into. I'll talk about one thing that I placed a little earlier today. So far, really, a lot of the like different props, the coin toss, the Gatorade color, all that different stuff for the Super Bowl. They're not out yet on Hard Rock. Still waiting on all of that. Hopefully, when our later episode comes out this week, we'll have some more on
Mm-hmm.
that. We'll be able to put out more plays with that. But I actually put something together today, and I want to shout out somebody, Alan G. Bell. If you guys don't follow this guy, he is a fantastic dude when it comes to capping. I listen to him a lot. He's very knowledgeable about the game. I actually took this straight from him. I tailed him on this play because he talked about this earlier, and I love this. Wanted to use a profit boost on it. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, both of them to score a touchdown. And then we're going to throw in Pat Mahomes to throw an interception as well. You can get this for plus 100 on Hard Rock. I got it earlier at plus 100. I don't know if that line has moved since then. But if you put all that together, you can get a plus 475 parlay out of that. I think I put my profit boost on it and got it up to 676. Hard Rock was giving out a 59% profit boost if you did a three-legger before, I think by the end of the day today.
Mm-hmm.
So it was something I wanted to take advantage of. Alan Bell, like he is very, very knowledgeable, very understanding about a lot of this different stuff. So I wanted to take that time to shout him out and tail him on that play because I absolutely love that. I wanted to put that out there. I think it's a great play to be able to take obviously Saquon to score and Jalen to score. Like those, I think, are the two most likely touchdown scorers for the Eagles. When they get in close, those are the two guys they're going to look for. And Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't necessarily throw a lot of picks, but I do think that the Eagles defense has been the best part of their team this year, and they're going to put some damn pressure on Mahomes. We saw the one Super Bowl that they lost last year against, or not last year, a few years ago against the Bucks. They put relentless pressure on the defensive side
Mhm.
against Pat Mahomes, and he did not know what to do all game long. If I were the Eagles, watch that tape, try and emulate as much of that as you can, and you can force himself into some bad situations. So that's what I got for me. But in terms of the matchup, I mean, what are you thinking just in terms of what we have here? It's a repeat matchup from a couple years ago. So do you think it's going to go the same way?
I'm not excited to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think a lot
I'm
of people
not.
are.
I'm not at all. I can't think of a matchup that I'd really want to see less in the Super Bowl than the Chiefs and Eagles. Eagles being the obnoxious fan base, having people that they are.
Mhm.
They are the most solidified team between the two. With that being said, you got the Chiefs, you got the refs, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got the Taylor Swift hype. So, like, there's a lot going on both sides. Again, I'm more focused on the betting, so I'm going to say I'm cheering for offense this game. But other than that, I really don't want anyone to win. If I had to pick, it would probably be the Eagles. But dude, like I am fatigued of this matchup. I don't like it anymore. It's not enjoyable for anybody. Yeah, that's all we really got there. But I'll toss it back to you.
I mean, shoot, I'm with you on that, bro. It's hard to really disagree. The Chiefs' fatigue is definitely setting in. It feels like what the Patriots were 10, 20 years ago. All they were doing was winning, and all we wanted to do was see them lose. I mean, I'm going to be watching just to hate watch at this point because I also hate the Eagles. Like, my almost my entire extended family are Eagles fans.
Oof.
My family only Bucks fans in the family, so very big point of contention there. Obviously, with the Eagles in the Super Bowl, I got to catch a lot of heat, a lot of flack from them. So I don't really want any of these teams to win either, bro. I really hope it's almost like the same game that we saw a few years ago, 38-35, just an absolute show on the offensive side. I mean, that was exciting. There were fireworks all game long. They're throwing punches back and forth, and I think that's all we could ask for. I am just the guy that does not want this game to be taken over by the refs. It's been such a point of contention in the playoffs. It's been such a
Mhm.
point of contention with Chiefs games in general. Like I don't want to see that. If the Chiefs are able to win and do it without any help with the refs or any of this voodoo magic, all this stuff that people are talking about, like, hey man, more power to you. You're the first team ever to win three in a row. It's gonna be hard for me to shit on you after that. I'm not gonna like it personally, but it's gonna be hard for me to disrespect that. If this game is just absolutely taken over by blatant calls that shouldn't happen, pass interferences that are non-existent, holding calls that are ticky tack, I'm gonna be very frustrated, and I think a lot of people are gonna be very frustrated as well. The one thing you are not gonna want to have after this Super Bowl is everybody talking about the refs rather than
Mhm.
how the game was and how the matchup went.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. The refs just got to let the boys play. You have to
Hmm.
let the boys play. It's the final game of the year. Just stay out of it unless it's absolutely egregious. I just want a good football game to wrap up the year. I don't want any like BS. I just want to enjoy the game. Want to, follow my bets. I want to see big plays, big hits. I don't want to see flags galore. I'm so sick of it. Everyone is. It's why they hate this matchup. But like you said, if the refs stay out of it, we got a ball game
Yeah,
because it's literally the two best teams in the sport.
for
So we'll
real,
we'll have a ball game.
for real.
But with that being said, we are going to cut it here. Not a surprise. We don't really have all the Super Bowl prop bets yet, so we are still waiting. I promise you, the next episode this week will be very Super Bowl focused. Do not worry about that.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it feels good to be back. If you made it to this point, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. We will see you on the next episode. Peace.